Respected men, listen carefully because what I'm about to reveal will change the way you understand attraction forever. Most older men are blind to the single moment that determines whether a woman truly chooses them, and they miss it every single time. You think it happens when she says yes. You think it happens when she agrees to a date, smiles at you, or even texts first. No, that's too late. By then, she has already made her decision. The real choice happens long before you notice it, in silence, in subtle actions, in tiny tests that most men are completely unaware of. The moment she chooses you is invisible, and yet it's more powerful than anything you can see or hear. It is not about money, status, or experience. It is about your emotional presence, your composure, and your ability to remain calm under the smallest pressure. Every pause, every disagreement, every teasing remark is a test. And if you fail even once, you've lost without realizing it. Older men panic, they chase, they overexplain, they try to prove themselves, they react. And in that reaction, they reveal their weakness. She is not looking for effort. She is looking for strength, quiet strength, unwavering strength, the kind that does not need validation. By the time she shows obvious interest, the choice has already been made. What matters is what you did before, during, and after her subtle tests. Are you steady or reactive, composed or desperate, confident or insecure? This is the invisible battlefield where real attraction is won or lost, and most men will never see it. Stay with me, because if you understand this, if you learn how to recognize and master this moment, you will never chase a woman again. You will become the man she chooses naturally, consistently, and without question. And what I'm about to show you next will completely rewrite the rules of attraction for older men. You see, most men completely misunderstand the moment a woman chooses them. They think it happens when she says yes. They think it happens when she agrees to meet for coffee or dinner. They think it happens when she smiles a little longer than usual, or when she texts back first. And most older men, they miss it every single time because they are looking for the obvious. They are looking for the fireworks. They are waiting for a sign that never really comes in the way they expect. The truth is far subtler. The real moment she chooses you is silent. It is not announced. It does not come with a fanfare. It is in the quiet, almost invisible decision she makes about how to engage with you, how to test the waters, how to let you in. By the time you notice her actions, the invitation, the smile, the casual attention, she has already decided, she has already evaluated you, and she has already made a choice in her mind. The danger is most men see the outward signs and think, she has chosen me now, and then they act as if the work is done. That is the exact moment they begin to fail. Because the choice is not about what you do externally. It is not about how much effort you put into proving yourself. It is not about the gifts you give, the compliments you offer, or the clever things you say. The choice happens at an internal level. She is observing your reactions to small everyday moments. She is paying attention to your composure when she disagrees with you, to your calmness when she tests your patience, to the way you handle minor frustrations, to the way you navigate the silence that exists between two people who are still figuring each other out. And these are moments most men overlook entirely. Consider this. She may pull back slightly. She may pause before replying to your message. She may challenge an opinion of yours just to see how you respond. She may tease you in ways that feel subtle, almost playful, but are in fact carefully calibrated to test your confidence. Older men see these behaviors as signals of rejection or uncertainty. They panic. They over-explain. They chase validation. They try to impress her with words and gestures, thinking that action alone will secure her choice. But the reality is that these are not signs of interest that require correction. They are the very moments where she is deciding if you are the man she can trust with her emotions, if you are the man she can lean on without needing to manage, and if you are the man whose presence feels safe and steady. She chooses the man who can remain grounded in the face of these small tests. She chooses the man who does not crumble when she challenges him. She chooses the man who does not panic when she pulls away even slightly. She chooses the man whose confidence is quiet, who carries himself with a calm certainty, who maintains his standards without needing her approval at every step. That is the moment of selection, and it is invisible to those who are looking only for obvious confirmation. What most men fail to understand is that attraction is never about a single act. It is about a cumulative assessment. She observes, she evaluates, and she measures the energy you bring into every interaction. She senses whether you are reactive or composed, desperate or self-contained, dependent or independent. And she makes a choice based on that sense, not based on what you do to win her approval. It is an emotional calculus, subtle and complex, that older men are not trained to notice because they have been taught to look for external signals, the yes, the invitation, the flirtation, instead of the internal signs that actually matter. When you grasp this, everything changes. You no longer chase signs, you no longer overcompensate for uncertainty. You stop interpreting minor distance as rejection and start understanding it as an opportunity to demonstrate composure and strength. You recognize that the silent moments, the pauses, the hesitations, the small tests are the true battleground of choice. And in that battleground, your internal state becomes your most powerful asset. Calmness is your strategy. Presence is your strategy. Emotional discipline is your strategy. So the moment she chooses you is not when she hands you a visible token of interest. It is the moment she feels safe to stop testing, the moment she relaxes around you, the moment she senses she doesn't need to manipulate or manage your emotions. That is the invisible victory. And older men miss it because they cannot see the subtlety, because they do not understand that selection is psychological, not performative. Remember this, she has already chosen before the obvious signs appear. Your task is to show up as the man she can continue choosing, not to try to force the choice through external action. The choice is quiet, internal, and profoundly psychological. And when you finally understand that, you realize the power lies not in winning her attention, but in sustaining the presence, stability, and confidence that allow her to make the choice naturally. So if there is one insight I want you to carry with you today, it is this. The moment she chooses you is not a moment you can create with effort. It is a moment you can reveal through your composure, through your grounded presence, through your mastery of your own mind and emotions. Stop chasing what is already aligned with you. Stop interpreting her subtle tests as threats. Stay steady, remain calm, and understand that attraction is born from internal strength, not external gestures. That is the secret most men will never see. And now that you do, it is time to act differently, to respond differently, to embody the kind of presence that naturally earns the choice she has already made. Most men think women choose based on what they can see, their age, their money, their job, their experience. Older men in particular assume that life experience automatically translates to attractiveness. They believe that because they have achieved certain milestones, because they have stability, because they have status, they are somehow inherently chosen. But this is where so many of them are blind. Women are not selecting a resume, they are selecting a human being, a mind and a presence, a man whose emotional system can handle life's uncertainties and her subtle tests. That is what she is really evaluating, often without words, often without conscious thought. She is observing your nervous system. She is studying your reactions. Every small interaction is a test, a measurement of how you handle pressure, how you hold yourself in tension, how you respond when things do not go perfectly. A delayed reply, she notices how you react. A disagreement, she sees whether you can remain composed or if you immediately go defensive. A moment of silence, a small withdrawal, a teasing comment, she measures, she observes, and she decides. And older men, conditioned to believe that experience or material success equals automatic choice, misread every one of these moments. They act as though effort alone is enough, as though words and gestures can substitute for internal mastery. She is looking for emotional stability, and it is not something that can be faked. You can try to appear confident, but if your foundation is insecure, she will feel it. You can try to demonstrate success, but if your internal reactions are chaotic, she will unconsciously discount it. She chooses the man who remains composed under testing, the man whose self-esteem does not wobble when she challenges him, the man whose confidence is present but not performative. This is not about arrogance. It is not about dominance. It is about the ability to remain steady in the face of uncertainty and to not collapse when the situation is ambiguous. Consider how often older men misunderstand disagreement or delay as a personal attack. She may challenge your opinion lightly, probe your boundaries, or create small tensions to see if you panic. And most men fail at this because they assume that disagreement must be corrected immediately, that tension must be eliminated at all costs, that their authority, attractiveness, or value is contingent on her constant validation. But the strongest men do not react. They observe, they stay calm, they maintain composure. They respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. And it is in these quiet moments where no one else is watching, where she decides whether she can trust you as a man to be consistent, present, and safe emotionally. It is critical to understand that women are making choices through subtle observation, not through explicit statements. She is evaluating patterns over time, not a single act. The man who overtexts, who tries to prove himself, who bends over backward for approval, he fails precisely because he communicates instability. Conversely, the man who remains grounded, who maintains boundaries, who continues living his purpose independently, he signals a sense of security and emotional maturity that words cannot convey. And that is magnetic. That is what draws her in. That is what she chooses. Older men often overlook this because they measure attraction externally by attention, flattery, or superficial gestures. They do not realize that the true measure of attraction is internal. She is assessing your energy, your presence, your ability to navigate the world without collapsing at the first hint of challenge, or withdrawal. She wants to know if the circumstances were difficult, if life threw unpredictability at you, would you crumble or would you remain intact? Would you panic or would you act from a place of calm, strength, and patience? The answer to these questions is what she sees long before she ever says yes or makes a formal choice. This is why effort alone never works. You can try to impress, you can try to overcompensate, you can offer validation, money, attention, or praise. But if your emotional foundation is shaky, she will unconsciously reject it. Effort without emotional stability is like building a house on sand. It may look impressive, but it cannot endure. She is looking for the man whose internal equilibrium is unshakable, whose confidence is natural, whose presence conveys security without demanding anything in return. That is the invisible psychological criterion of choice that older men miss every day. To embody this, you must start by recognizing that your reactions matter more than your actions. Your ability to remain calm under testing matters more than your ability to plan a perfect date. Your ability to maintain composure during disagreement matters more than your ability to deliver clever lines or witty remarks. Your capacity to tolerate silence, uncertainty, and minor withdrawal without panic matters more than any external attempt to win her favor. This is not just attraction, this is what creates trust, respect, and long-term alignment. So remember, women are not choosing your bank account, your career, or even your social status. They are choosing your nervous system. They are choosing the man who can remain present, composed, and unshaken. When life and subtle tests create tension, that is the ultimate signal of strength, and it is the signal she responds to most powerfully. If you understand this, you will stop overcompensating. You will stop confusing effort with attraction. You will start focusing on what truly matters, becoming the man who is stable, grounded, and present, regardless of the challenges she or life may present. So the next time you wonder why she seems distant, why she teases, why she challenges, or why she delays a response, remember this: she is not rejecting you, she is evaluating you. And the moment she senses that your composure, confidence, and emotional stability are intact, that is the moment she begins to truly choose you. Understand this, internalize it, and your entire approach to attraction and connection will shift forever. The moment she slightly pulls back is often the moment she is deciding whether you are the man she can trust. Most older men panic at this point. They interpret subtle distance as rejection. They overanalyze every word, every pause, every glance. They feel the pressure to act, to reassure, to chase, to prove themselves. And in doing so, they completely miss the point. The truth is, when a woman creates space, when she withdraws just a little, when she delays a response or challenges you in a small way, she is not rejecting you. She is testing you. She is evaluating whether you can remain steady when the situation feels uncertain. She is assessing whether you are emotionally mature enough to handle her complexity and your own life simultaneously. This moment is subtle, yet it is profound. It is in these quiet tests, these micro challenges, that she measures your composure. She is looking to see if you crumble, if you panic, if you overcompensate. She is not asking you to prove your worth with words or grand gestures. She is asking you to show strength through calmness, through patience, through presence. And this is where most older men fail. They react to the withdrawal with insecurity, they chase validation, they over-explain, rush to fix what is not broken. In doing so, they reveal a lack of emotional stability, and the moment of opportunity passes without them even realizing it. To understand this, you must grasp the psychology of attraction at its core. Women are not evaluating your superficial traits at this stage. They are observing patterns of behavior under subtle pressure. They want to see how you handle uncertainty. They want to see if you can maintain your center when you feel tension or slight disapproval. They want to see if you need their reassurance to feel confident. And all of this is happening long before any explicit declaration of interest. The moment she is pulling back slightly is her way of asking, can I trust this man to remain composed when life does not go exactly as expected? Can I trust him to be steady even when I create minor uncertainty? Older men are often conditioned to believe that attraction is linear, that effort equals interest, and that attention is the currency of choice. They think if they text enough, if they compliment enough, if they chase enough, they can secure her decision. But attraction is never transactional. Attraction is emotional, psychological, and profoundly subtle. It is built in the way you respond when things are not perfectly aligned with your desires. It is built in your ability to remain calm, confident, and self-contained when the situation challenges you. And this is precisely what she is testing in these moments of withdrawal. Think about the way most men respond. A slight delay in a message triggers anxiety. A playful tease triggers overexplanation. A mild challenge triggers defensiveness. And in each case, they broadcast a lack of internal strength. They communicate that their stability is contingent on her approval. That is a signal she unconsciously reads, and it undermines the very foundation she is evaluating. The man who succeeds, however, does the opposite. He stays composed. He maintains his routine. He does not overreact. He shows without words that his life, his confidence, and his emotional equilibrium are not dependent on her every micro action. That is magnetic. That is the moment she leans in rather than pulls away. This is not about being distant or cold. It is not about pretending not to care. It is about embodying emotional sovereignty. It is about being fully present in your own life while allowing her to express her preferences, her hesitations, and her challenges without letting them destabilize you. She wants to see that you are grounded, that you have a center that cannot be easily shaken, and that you are capable of managing complexity, both yours and hers, without panic or desperation. That is the kind of composure that creates choice. There is a deeper lesson here, one that older men often overlook. Life will test you in ways that have nothing to do with attraction. Career challenges, family pressures, financial uncertainty, these are all tests of emotional composure. How you handle minor withdrawal from her is a reflection of how you handle larger pressures in life. If you overreact to small space, if you chase validation when she pulls back slightly, it signals that you are not prepared for larger challenges. She senses this instinctively, and she will respond accordingly. She chooses the man whose internal stability extends beyond minor provocations, who can tolerate ambiguity, and who demonstrates resilience quietly but unmistakably. This is why patience is crucial. When she pulls back slightly, do not panic. Do not overanalyze. Do not try to win her back with effort or attention. Instead, maintain your life, maintain your standards, and maintain your composure. Smile, stay warm, but not desperate. Respond thoughtfully, but do not react impulsively. Veli, show her that your confidence and your presence are unwavering, even in the face of small challenges. That is the essence of attraction at this level. That is what she is choosing. That is the moment older men consistently miss. So remember this: the subtle withdrawal is not a threat. It is an opportunity to demonstrate the emotional strength that she is searching for. An opportunity to reveal that your stability does not depend on her validation. An opportunity to embody the kind of presence that earns her trust and deepens her attraction. This is not just about dating. It is about becoming a man whose inner strength commands respect, whose composure signals reliability, and whose presence is magnetic because it is unwavering. And if you take this lesson seriously, if you act on it, you will see a transformation. She will begin to lean in rather than pull away. She will mirror your energy. She will relax. She will begin to choose you, not because of words, not because of gestures, not because of effort, but because of the calm, grounded, confident man you have revealed through your composure. So the next time she creates slight distance, remember this: it is the test, not the rejection. It is the moment she is deciding, and your response will determine everything. Stay steady, stay composed, stay present, because in these quiet, subtle moments lies the greatest power of attraction and the greatest opportunity for her to truly choose you. Most older men make a critical mistake when they think effort equals attraction. They believe that if they text enough, compliment enough, or chase hard enough, they will win her attention, her respect, and ultimately her choice. But the truth is far different. Effort, attention, and even charm are not what women are responding to at the deepest level. They are responding to strength, not loud, aggressive, strength, not flashy displays of dominance or performance, but quiet, grounded strength, emotional containment, composure under subtle pressure, the ability to remain steady in the face of unpredictability. These are the qualities that attract her on a subconscious psychological level. Strength is quiet, fear is loud, and this is why so many older men fail. They confuse action with impact. They confuse effort with presence. They believe that the more they invest externally, the more likely she is to choose them. Yet the moment of true choice is invisible to those who rely on external measures. She is not drawn to the man who proves himself at every opportunity. She is drawn to the man whose internal stability communicates that he does not need to prove anything at all. She is drawn to the man who is grounded, who is steady, and who maintains composure even when she tests him, pulls back slightly, or challenges him in subtle ways. Think about the dynamics of attraction for a moment. A woman is not evaluating a single gesture or statement. She is observing patterns. She is studying your reactions over time, looking for consistency. She wants to know that you are capable of managing your emotions, your energy, and your life without collapsing at minor stresses. She wants to feel that your internal state is not dependent on her approval or attention. That is what strength looks like in practice. It is not about doing more. It is about the quality of your presence rather than the quantity of your actions. Older men often overlook this principle because they rely on effort to compensate for insecurity. They try to impress her with accomplishments, with charm, with gifts, or with flattery, believing that if they work hard enough, they can manufacture attraction. But she is unconsciously measuring something far more profound. She is measuring whether you are emotionally sovereign. She is measuring whether you can tolerate minor tension without panic. She is measuring whether you can maintain direction and purpose even when she introduces ambiguity. This is the signal she responds to most strongly. It is a signal of stability, composure, and quiet confidence. Consider the micro moments that older men consistently misread: a teasing remark, a delayed reply, a small challenge to your opinion. These are not tests of your ability to chase or impress. They are tests of your internal strength. The man who reacts impulsively, who overcompensates, who seeks reassurance, fails immediately. The man who maintains calm, continues his life, and responds thoughtfully passes with flying colors. It is not the action itself that matters. It is the energy behind the action. She is not evaluating what you do. She is evaluating how you do it, whether your presence communicates stability and confidence or insecurity and neediness. This is why emotional containment is the single most attractive trait a man can embody. Women are drawn to the man who can hold his space without being threatened by her independence. The man who can navigate subtle tension without losing composure. The man whose confidence is rooted internally rather than externally. Effort can be seen and dismissed. Words can be analyzed and discounted. But the calm strength of a composed man is felt on a visceral, almost instinctual level. It is magnetic because it signals reliability, consistency, and security. Older men fail because they misunderstand the essence of attraction. They try to do too much. They believe that proving themselves is necessary. They believe that chasing, persuading, and over-explaining will secure choice. But attraction is not transactional. It is not a series of calculated steps. It is a resonance between emotional presence and perception. She chooses the man who demonstrates through his demeanor, through his responses, and through his internal stability that he is unwavering, even when she introduces uncertainty. That is the real power. That is the invisible signal that she is evaluating and responding to. To embody this, you must focus on your internal state first. Cultivate composure, cultivate emotional sovereignty, cultivate the ability to respond rather than react. Understand that her tests are not about your external actions, but about the quality of your presence. Maintain your purpose, stay grounded in your own life, continue to move forward with clarity and calm. Show her, without words, that your confidence does not depend on her validation. That is how you demonstrate the strength she is unconsciously seeking. That is how you become the man she wants to choose, not because you chase, but because you embody a power she instinctively respects. And here is the critical insight. Strength is attractive precisely because it does not need to be proven. A man who tries too hard communicates insecurity. A man who overcompensates communicates fear. A man who panics in response to subtle withdrawal communicates need. Strength communicates the opposite. It communicates stability, reliability, and confidence. It signals that you are a man whose presence can be trusted, a man whose life is complete without needing constant reassurance. That is magnetic. That is the energy that makes her choose you. So understand this clearly. The moment of attraction is not earned through effort. It is revealed through emotional containment. It is revealed through the quiet, unwavering confidence that underpins every action, every response, and every interaction. The man who embodies this strength does not need to chase, does not need to impress, does not need to overcompensate. He simply is. And that is the signal she notices, the signal she responds to, the signal she ultimately chooses. So the next time you feel the urge to chase, to overexplain, to prove yourself, stop, pause, reflect. Maintain your composure, hold your space, because strength is silent, presence is powerful, and confidence that is grounded, not performative, will always outshine effort. The women who are truly aligned with your energy will notice, respond, and ultimately choose you, not for what you do, but for who you are. The most important truth that most men fail to grasp is that a woman does not choose you once and then the work is over. Choice is ongoing. It is continuous. She keeps choosing, And how you respond, how you carry yourself, and how you maintain your presence determines whether she continues to choose you. Most older men assume that once they have won her interest, everything else falls into place. They believe that a single moment of attraction or alignment is sufficient. But this is a fundamental mistake. Attraction is not a single transaction. It is a living, evolving process, and every subtle interaction, every pause, every small disagreement, and every shared moment adds to the ongoing decision she is making about you. She watches patterns over time. She notices how you respond when life introduces small tensions. She notices whether you maintain composure when her behavior challenges you subtly. She notices whether you respect boundaries, both hers and your own. She notices whether you continue to live your life with purpose, focus, and confidence, even when her attention is not constant. These are the things that older men overlook. They focus on moments they perceive as critical: a date, a compliment, a favor, a gesture. They measure success by visible markers of interest. But she is measuring something much deeper: the consistency of your character, the strength of your presence, the stability of your energy, and the way you navigate both certainty and ambiguity. She continues to evaluate because her ultimate choice is not just about attraction, it is about trust. She is looking to see if she can trust you to be steady, reliable, and confident in the face of life's small and large tests. And this is why so many men fail to maintain her attention or deepen her investment. They assume that initial interest guarantees long-term alignment. They believe that performing well in a single interaction is enough. But women sense patterns. They sense whether a man's composure is genuine or performative, whether his strength is internal or external, whether his confidence is authentic, or every micro interaction communicates information about who you are, and she is absorbing it continuously. This ongoing choice is subtle, almost invisible, yet it carries enormous weight. She mirrors your energy when she feels safe. She softens her tone when she senses composure. She leans in emotionally when she trusts your steadiness. These are signals that the process of her choosing you is unfolding positively. And when you misread these signals, when you chase too hard, overcompensate, or panic at minor withdrawal, you disrupt the alignment she is forming with you. You communicate need, insecurity, or inconsistency, and all of these are powerful deterrents to her continued choice. Older men often think that maintaining attraction requires effort in the form of grand gestures or constant attention. But the truth is exactly the opposite. It is not effort that sustains her choice. It is your consistent presence, your emotional sovereignty, your ability to maintain your standards, and your ability to navigate uncertainty with calmness. She is not drawn to men who perform. She is drawn to men who embody stability. She is not attracted to a man who responds with clarity. She is not impressed by validation-seeking behavior. She is impressed by quiet composure. And she continues to choose the man who consistently communicates these qualities through his presence. Every moment you maintain this composure reinforces her choice. Every time you respond rather than react, every time you honor your boundaries, every time you continue to live your life with clarity and purpose, she sees that you are the man she felt safe choosing initially. And this safety is the foundation of attraction, respect, and emotional investment. She chooses not because of what you say or what you do in isolated moments, but because of the consistent signal you send about who you are and how you handle yourself. This is the essence of ongoing choice. It is a reflection of your stability over time. The challenge for older men is that this requires patience and self mastery. It requires resisting the urge to overanalyze, overexplain, or overcompensate. It requires understanding that attraction is an ongoing, living process that cannot be forced or controlled. She is continually assessing your presence, your reactions, and your energy. Your task is not to chase or manipulate her choice. Your task is to embody the qualities that make you continuously worth choosing. That is the power that most men overlook, the power that most men fail to understand, and the power that will set you apart. This means that your life cannot pause in response to her subtle signals. Your confidence cannot be contingent on her attention. Your emotional stability cannot depend on her reassurance. You must continue to lead your own life, pursue your goals, maintain your purpose, and hold your standards. And in doing so, you communicate the strongest signal possible that your worth, your presence, and your emotional equilibrium are not negotiable. That is what she continues to choose. So remember this: selection is ongoing, and your role is not to force her choice, but to sustain it through your consistent presence, composure, and strength. She will continue to choose you when she senses that you are steady, self-contained, and reliable. She will continue to choose you when she feels that you are unwavering in your purpose and authentic in your presence. She will continue to choose you when she sees that your internal strength is not dependent on external validation. The power of this insight is profound. It transforms the way you approach connection, attraction, and relationships. It frees you from chasing or overcompensating. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, becoming the man whose presence is magnetic, whose composure is unshakable, and whose energy is aligned with trust, confidence, and emotional stability. So the next time you interact with her, remember this: she is choosing you continuously, and your role is to remain steady, present, and composed. Stop trying to earn her choice through effort alone. Instead, embody the strength, clarity, and confidence that make her want to keep choosing you. When you understand and live this truth, you will no longer chase fleeting approval, and the relationship you build will be rooted in trust, respect, and authentic attraction.